Driving in St. Lucia taught us lessons that we never expected, from nearly getting stuck on a detour to understanding why a rental car opened up the real St. Lucia. This final video in our planning series, we dive into everything transportation, from taxis to rental cars to how to explore this incredible island safely and authentically. If you've ever traveled to the Caribbean and rented a car to explore the island, you're probably ready to do so for St. Lucia. Well, one thing we discovered in our research before even going was that St. Lucia is a little unique when it comes to driving around. What they don't tell you is how narrow and windy these roads are, but they're not unnavigatable. Let's put it that way. Yes, you are going to be driving on the left hand side of the road. Yes, you are going to be driving from the right hand side of the car. So both of those are going to be major adjustments if you're coming from the US or Canada, because hello, we drive on the opposite side. So knowing that ahead of time is just going to help you acclimate when you get there. Another thing to consider that they don't really disclose or tell you is that if you're above a certain age, and I believe that is the age of 60 or 65, you need to have written permission from your doctor that you can actually drive and rent a car in St. Lucia. Yes, that is a real thing. When we were checking in for our rental car, there was a poor lady there that was unable to rent her car because she did not have that proper documentation from her doctor. So that is a real thing. Now, when we picked up our rental car, it was a fairly easy process, but again, that acclimation to driving on the wrong hand side of the road did take us a bit. Now, the road conditions, just like a lot of countries, there's road construction everywhere, which led us to some detours and some really rough road conditions. So on top of the fact that you're driving on the wrong side of the road, you're also sometimes getting detoured to these very narrow side streets. And then you get to the twisty, windy, pintail turns that go around mountainous roads throughout the country. It is a bit of a white knuckle experience if you're not comfortable with that kind of driving. Thankfully, I don't usually get too fazed by that. I actually kind of enjoy that type of driving. I find it exciting. I find it fun. So I'm a little bit unique in that way, but for a lot of people, that is just not their cup of tea. So just knowing that that's kind of what you're going to be in for if you are renting a car. But on the positive side, it gives you all of the freedom to go and explore the island in a really authentic way, to stop off where you want to. Go stop at that little roadside stand to try the cassava bread like we did. Go wander to the local market and load up on your groceries for your accommodation so you can cook in and not have to eat out every day, saving you a ton of money. Being able to adapt your schedule to when you want to go and not have to worry about trying to find transportation there or back. And taxis add up a lot. So I am on team rent a car, but I will say that if you are not comfortable driving, if you are not comfortable navigating roads, then taxis are going to be the way to go. Another thing to know is the navigation portion. We found Google Maps very good. It was very accurate. It gave us great directions. We never really had an issue finding where we were going. The only time that we felt maybe we were getting quote unquote lost was when we had to take a detour. But honestly, we just followed the rest of the traffic because they were all on the same detour that we were. So let's look at why you may not want to drive on St. Lucia. Again, like I just mentioned, if you're not comfortable driving in a foreign country, driving on the wrong side of the road, driving on the wrong side of the car, then yeah, you might want to just take the public transportation options available. So number one is taxi. That gives you the most flexibility. It's usually a personal ride, and you can have your hotel or resort call and arrange those taxi services on your behalf. Sometimes you can even arrange for a full day tour with a taxi that will take you around the island to different areas and allow you to explore a little bit like a local. The other is to go on an arranged tour. So obviously through your resort, you can go on a different day excursion, whether that be down to, if you're staying in Rodney Bay, maybe you're going down to the Pitons mud baths for the day to explore that end of the island. Yeah, you can certainly do that, but like any guided tour, you are going to be subject to their time schedule. You are going to be subject to whatever group you're with, and maybe sometimes you don't like the people that you're traveling with, but you are on their time schedule. You don't get to decide if you want to stay and linger a little bit longer in one location before moving on. When they say it's time to go, it's time to go. So you are subject to that. That is a downside of taking that. Now, there are some other transportation options available, like the local buses, but I honestly, on any Caribbean island, have never taken them. Number one, we almost always rent a car, so taking the bus is not ever an option. And number two, I just don't really know how reliable they are. I know they are a very inexpensive form of transportation, but it's just been something that I personally have not experienced. If you've experienced it, please share your experiences down in the comments to help others understand what that experience is like and if it might be for them. If you are only going to stay on an all-inclusive resort, then by all means, look at what the resort offers for your airport transfers, because that may be the only transportation you're going to need for your stay. And if it's offered or included with your stay, you might as well take advantage of it. But there's also some other options that are kind of unique and might be a little fun. For your airport transfer, you can also take a helicopter direct from the airport all the way to your resort. Depending on where you're staying, some of the resorts have their own helipad, and others will just fly you to the north end of the island, and then from there you would take a taxi. Another way to get around is on the water. So you can also take a water ferry or a water taxi from the airport all the way up to the northern end of the island, and then again from there you would take a taxi to your actual resort. So there are some options when it comes to the airport transfers as well. So which one are you more comfortable with? Are you the adventure type that can go out there, grab a rental car, adapt to driving on the wrong side of the road, and explore the real, authentic St. Lucia? Or are you a little bit more comfortable when somebody else is behind the wheel? Which one are you? I'd love to know. Put it in the comments. For me personally, I would never go another way. I always rent a car. I always go and try to explore it like a local. It gives me the flexibility to stop off and take pictures when I want, to stumble across hidden gems, to really figure out how to get around the island. Sometimes I end up in neighborhoods that I'm not too sure of, but that's okay. It's still part of the local and authentic experience that the island offers. And I want to see that. I want to experience that. I want to know what it's like to live there as a local, not just the glossed over version that we see in the beautiful travel magazines. So this wraps up our St. Lucia travel series. If you missed the other videos in this series, you can click the card right here. Go check them out so you have everything you need to go explore and experience this incredible St. Lucia gem in the Caribbean. If you're ready to plan your own adventure and you'd like a little assistance, head on down to the description, click the link, and let's schedule an exploratory call and get you exploring St. Lucia like a local. I thank you for watching this series and can't wait to work with you. And until next time, travel safe.
Where are we going next? Let's go.